All right, folks, welcome back inside the janitor's closet. My name is Bryce Hunt. I'm joined, as always, by Josh Frey-Sam. And Josh, we promised it. We said it's a long season, all this stuff. We went through a little bit of a rough patch in the middle of this NFL season, which is now over halfway done. But sure enough, we were back in the win column last week and the week before that. And this week, we're kind of back to our old selves as we recap week 10 with a 4-1 week for plus 4.9 units. Sorry, bringing our season total up to 29, 22, and 2. Folks, we have another handful of plays for you as week 11 gets started here. But before we do that, Josh, this is kind of getting back to where you need to be here, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, man. We're feeling good coming off week 10. I mean, those are the kind of weeks that you want, right? Obviously, one game short of bringing out the brooms and bringing the sunglasses back out. Hopefully, we can get back to that this week. But we'll take a 4-1 week, 8 days, 8 days a week, twice on Sunday for sure. On that, and actually, we saw in the comments there with some people were questioning whether or not we actually went 4-1. I saw that. I just wanted we should clarify that this is a prime example why people need to be following us on X, TJC Bets, because once again, we gave out another winner on our X account at TJC Bets. We've been doing that. We've been really good on those X plays as well. A couple of them have been teasers. Now, of course, we actually started week 11 with a loss here in that Bengals game. No thanks to Joe Burrow leaving the game early there. Anyways, that's a prime example. We went 3-1 on video plays, and then we went 4-1, or we went 4-1, added a win there on that with the X play. So, anyways, feel free to give us a follow there if you want some extra plays from time to time. But we're feeling good. We're feeling motivated coming off those, and hopefully we can just keep it rolling into this week.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Kind of some questions about the show plays went 3-3. How did we end up with that 4-3 record? As you mentioned, our
That's right.
Twitter or our X plays get added to our record for the week, whether we win or lose. They'll get thrown on just as this week's Thursday nighter will be on the
Right.
record for next week
Right. This week, man.
and so forth going forward. That said, folks, he mentioned it. Follow that X Twitter account. Follow us right here on YouTube. Subscribe, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Be active in those comments. We appreciate your support. And without further ado, let's get right into these plays. We have a handful of good ones for you folks. And Josh, I want to start. We're looking at the AFC East here between the Jets and the Bills. These are two
Yeah.
very, very interesting teams at this point in the year. Really, maybe both of them not really where we thought we would see them in, say, week two.
Yeah, man. With the Jets, we've almost gotten used to just Zach Wilson being at the helm, and then I think it's interesting. Even though Aaron Rodgers has talked about a lot, it's almost like we can't help but forget that Aaron Rodgers is supposed to be the quarterback of this team from time to time. Just so used to Zach Wilson and just a not so good offense and being dragging down a very good defense. Anyways, you look on the flip side of this thing with the Buffalo Bills. Coming into this game, something's just weird about this Bills team, man. It has been for a few weeks now. They just fired, obviously, their offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey. People are talking about Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen splitting up again potentially after the season's over. The defense is clearly showing some warts from some of the injuries that they've suffered over the course of this season. And then the New York Jets, as I talked about, I mean, well, we kind of know about them, right? It's also really interesting because Garrett Wilson this week specifically, who's kind of aside from Breece Hall, him and Breece Hall, two best players on this offense. Garrett Wilson has been limited all week in practice with an elbow injury, and so it's going to be kind of interesting to see. I think he'll play on Sunday, but it's kind of interesting to see whether or not he does. In fact, maybe he does surprise and doesn't show up. Meanwhile, for Buffalo. Micah Hyde I think, is going to be back this week. That'll give a boost to their defense. But then you have to beg the question: is this the week that the Buffalo Bills offense kind of breaks out? On the flip side, is this the week that the New York Jets defense kind of breaks down finally? But regardless, we have to go with the trends here and what these two teams are saying. And right now, these two teams are saying low scoring offenses and defenses that are having to kind of pick up the slack here. And so with that being said, we're going to go first half under 20 in this game. We're just going to bet the under has been very friendly for the New York Jets this season. We're going to just continue to ride this one out. It was a lower scoring game in week one when these two teams met. And I think we're gonna see much of the same this week with both these offense still kind of sputtering and trying to figure it out.
Yeah, you mentioned the new offensive coordinator mixed with the Jets that they've struggled to find the end zone all season, really. So first play is going to be the under 20 in the Jets and Bills game. The New England Patriots will not be featured in this video, but we are going to cover 3 quarters of that AFC East division, as our next play will involve the Miami Dolphins, who are getting visited by the Las Vegas Raiders here coming off a bye week, Josh.
Yeah, this spread is a big one, and it's a big one for a reason. And listen, I hate taking spreads in the double digits, but this one just by all measures feels like a blowout, doesn't it? I mean, you look at last week. I think it was the Dallas Cowboys that were favored by 16 over the New York Giants, and you're just kind of sitting there like, is it too good to be true, kind of thing. It wasn't. It wasn't too good to be like the Cowboys blew them out and covered that spread easily. I think the same thing kind of happens in this one here. That's why this spread was at 12 at one point. It's up to 13 and a half. I still got no problem taking this one, although some people might, but I'm going to take this one confidently still. Minus 13 and a half, Miami Dolphins is the play here. The Fins are coming off a bye. The Las Vegas Raiders, yes, Antonio Pierce has everybody fired up, but for my money, I mean, I think the Cinderella story kind of stops right here, right now. Finns are just going to be too much to handle on offense. They can make this game attract me. They can make any game attract me that they want to. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I think where Miami's actually been lacking for much of this season has actually been on the defensive side of the ball, but they've just kind of been a middling defense. But now, keep in mind they got Jalen Ramsey back, and now again coming off a bye, this defense is going to start gelling. That allows Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator, to actually play his defense, the defense that he wants to, which is going to be a lot of man coverage, a lot of exotic blitzes coming at the quarterback, and so for a rookie quarterback, Aiden O'Connell over there at the helm. I think that's going to be a lot for him to handle. You got Xavier Howard and Jalen Ramsey at the corners. I think Devontae Adams is going to have a tougher time getting open against these two corners this week, and then as a result, it's going to have a ripple effect on the rest of the team. So I don't really know the Raiders. I don't know how efficient that offense is going to be with that defense, with that Fins defense at kind of more at full health now. And then on the flip side, Las Vegas Raiders defense is just terrible against the run, which the Miami Dolphins we know are among the best in the NFL. And then off that play action game, I think Miami's going to put up a lot of points in this game. And quite simply, the Raiders just aren't going to be able to keep up. So confidently taking Miami Dolphins minus 3.5, 13 and a half, pardon me, in this game.
Yeah, you mentioned something in our pre-show conversation about the Miami Dolphins' last game was that one overseas where that offense really looked they really struggled at times, and
Yeah,
that had to be frustrating for them, especially to have extra time to sit on that and kind of work out those kinks. They come back full health with Achan making
yeah,
his return this week. Jalen Ramsey another week healthier for that defense. He looks to already be making a huge impact on that side of the ball.
yeah.
All things are kind of coming up Miami. We've seen them blow teams out already this year, and we might see it again. We're predicting to see it again this week in week 11, as we're going to take their spread at 12 or 13, minus 12 or minus 13, whatever you can get it at, against the Las Vegas Raiders. And for our next play, Josh, this is kind of the game of the week here. This is your
Big one.
Super Bowl rematch between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, a couple stats to throw at you here. Andy Reid coming off a bye week, all time. Okay, this has been noted over and over. It gets noted every single year, but we're going to talk about it once again for these purposes. Andy Reid coming off a bye week in his career is 27-4 all time. Okay, this guy is just about the master of taking advantage of a bye week. Okay, Nick Sirianni on the flip side hasn't been a head coach for very long, but he's 2-0 all time in after his bye week. But I'll tell you what, there's also on the Philadelphia Eagles side of the thing, side of the ball, Dallas Goedert will not play. He has that fractured forearm, I believe, is what the injury is, so he's going to be out for a while here. The difference in this game for me is where they're going to be playing. This is and in the defenses for that matter as well. Obviously, this game's going to be played at Arrowhead in prime time. Uh, with Patrick Mahomes in prime time at home as well. That's a recipe for a Kansas City Chiefs W. On the other thing, with what I was talking about with the defense, Kansas City is slightly susceptible to the run, Obviously, Philadelphia Eagles are very good against the run on the defensive side of the ball. But the Philadelphia Eagles, where they're struggling mightily, where the Kansas City Chiefs kind of have the difference here is against the pass. Now, obviously, Patrick Mahomes, so he's going to be able to take advantage of the Philadelphia Eagles defense in my mind. But then on the other side of things, without Dallas Goedert, Kansas City's defense is, I've mentioned it before earlier in the season. Like they need to be right up there in the conversations with the San Franciscos of the world and the Cleveland Browns of the world. Those kind of defenses. Kansas City is not being talked about enough for their defense, and they're actually the ones that are kind of carrying this team right now. It's as the offense kind of figures it out for the first time in Patrick Mahomes' career. We're talking about the defense as actually being the strength of a team. So I think that it's going to continue into prime time here. I think this is going to be a really good game through and through. But at the end of the day, we're going to take the home team here. I think Andy Reid is going to be able to game plan, do his thing coming off the bye here. And so we're going to just need the Kansas City Chiefs to kind of kick that game-winning field goal to win this one out. I see them being able to pull this one through by at least 3 points here. So we'll take Kansas City in prime time.
It looks to be high scoring. It looks to be back and forth. We're going to take Kansas City here minus 2.5 for all the reasons you just listed there, Josh.
Yeah.
And now, folks, for our last play here, we have a little bit of a twist here. For those who don't know, we are two residents of the Great White North up in Canada, covering, obviously an American sport in the NFL. But this Sunday, there's a little, our own football league here, the Canadian Football League, is having their Grey Cup between our Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the Montreal Alouettes, who pull off quite a upset in their semifinal game to get into the Grey Cup. Josh, this game from Hamilton, Ontario. You obviously have a lot of ties into the CFL for all the different reasons. Winnipeg and Montreal are going to kick off the old Canadian game this Sunday.
Yeah, we got the Grey Cup, man. I don't even remember what edition this is of the Grey Cup. Is this 110th or something like that? I have no idea what edition this is, the Grey Cup. Anyways, so it's a big one. But Winnipeg Blue Bombers, for those that don't know, I don't know how many of our viewers are from America or not, or how many from Canada. But anyways, a quick breakdown of this. The Montreal Alouettes haven't been to a Grey Cup in a little bit here. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers, meanwhile, are making their fourth consecutive appearance in this game. This is they're on the brink of, if they win this game, they're pretty much cemented as a dynasty, a modern day dynasty here. The Bombers are the biggest thing kind of. We're going to take the play is Winnipeg minus 8.5 here. And the reason is kind of twofold. One, Winnipeg's, we all know how tough it is to beat a team 3 times in a season. The Canadian Football League is small enough to the point where, I don't know, like it matters, but like because it's so small, it's like you're going to play a team like 3 times regardless, it feels like in a season. So it's not quite, doesn't kind of loom as large, I would say, in the CFL. Anyways, Winnipeg won earlier this season 17-3, and then they won 47-17 later on in the year. The other thing that we're going to say, this one's played on neutral turf, but the other thing that we're going to talk about here is the experience factor. Again, Montreal Alouettes, a lot of these guys are playing their first Grey Cup. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers, like I said, these guys they've kept the same team around for like the better part of 3-4 seasons. Like most of these guys have been here, done that. And again, the Alouettes really are kind of like that not supposed to be here team, right? The Bombers were scheduled to be here all season. We expected them to be. They are here. They lost last season to the Toronto Argonauts, and now they're trying to obviously come back with a vengeance this season. The Montreal Alouettes, meanwhile, are kind of just, in my opinion, just happy to be here, just happy to get to this point. They obviously pulled up a massive upset last week. One other stat for the people at home, as far as the Alouettes, I believe the stat is divisional winners. They knocked off the Argonauts by 21 plus points last week. I think the stat is the last 5 times. I think it's been 5 times in history that a division winner has won by 21 plus points in the division finals. That team has always gone on to lose in the Grey Cup. So the Montreal Alouettes history is not favoring the Montreal Alouettes, not to mention just the experience factor, not to mention the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are just better than them through and through. So we're going to take Winnipeg minus 8.5 here confidently. I don't really see this Grey Cup being very close, and I think Winnipeg's going to cement their names as dynasties in the CFL here.
Yeah, exactly. This Winnipeg team was a missed field goal last year from going for their fourth straight, and this that core of guys that they have on their roster was hungry to kind of get that back,
Yeah.
and cement that dynasty that they weren't able to do last year. So that will be the play there. Winnipeg Blue Bombers -8 for the folks south of the border. For us, I believe it's ESPN 3 or 4 usually carries the Grey Cup if you're looking to sweat that one out. I remember from my college days down in the States. So something to look forward to there as we recap our Week 11 plays here. The Jets and the Bills, first half under 20. The Raiders and Dolphins, we're taking Miami -12. Philly at Kansas City, we're taking the Chiefs -2.5. And then Winnipeg versus Montreal, we're taking the Winnipeg Blue Bombers -8.5 in the Grey Cup this Sunday, Josh. We've been there. We're getting close. I think that these sunglasses might be making an appearance in the near future, I'll
I
say.
I hope so, man. I really do. I really do. Yeah, looking forward to this week once again. Hopefully we continue staying in the green here and let's just keep it rolling here. Hopefully we get these the rest of these the rest of the viewers here. Hopefully everybody stays committed here and keep it rolling throughout the rest of the season here.
We appreciate your trust, folks, in the program. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment down below. That'll do it for us this week. We will see you right here next week for our Week 12 plays. But until then, best of luck, folks. Happy betting and bet responsibly.